Life is not gentle. It's not some quiet river that just carries you along. No, it's more like a constant push and pull. A struggle? Think about it. Every person has their own interests. I have mine. You have yours. And when those interests clash, which they often do, who wins? Usually, the one who knows how to stand up for themselves, the one who draws boundaries. Because if you don't defend your rights, you get crushed instantly. Crushed in your family, crushed at work, crushed even in simple conversations. You stay silent when you should speak, and you start bleeding silently. You suffer quietly, all in the name of being kind, of being forgiving, of being good. But let me ask you this. What's worse, speaking up and setting a boundary, or letting the wound grow deeper by staying quiet? That's why I wrote The Strong Personality. Not because I'm perfect, not because I've mastered everything. No, I wrote it out of pain, out of being crushed, then rising again and again. Most people's suffering doesn't come from money problems or health issues. No, it comes from other people. How many times have you heard someone say, "I have a problem with my car," or "I have a problem with my phone"? Almost never. Always it's, "I have a problem with my boss, with my spouse, with my friend, with my neighbor." Always with people. So how do you protect your rights without becoming rude? Without crossing lines? Without hurting others, but also without letting them walk all over you? That's the balance. That's the line we must learn to draw. Let me give you an example. Imagine someone wrongs me, let's say during a meeting. Out of respect, I stay quiet. Once, twice. Should I keep accepting that behavior? Should I keep welcoming someone who became a source of pain for me before? Because no matter how polite you are, if you're the reason I feel humiliated once, why would I allow myself to be humiliated again? And here's something important. There's a difference between keeping a relationship temporarily and keeping it permanently. A strong personality maintains relationships that are worth keeping. A weak one cuts ties and ends up with shallow, temporary connections that fade quickly. In my book, I make a distinction between confidence in yourself and confidence in your essence. Some scholars even discouraged using the phrase self-confidence because the word self can be misleading. Our self, in Islamic teachings, is often the commanding self, the one inclined toward wrongdoing. So putting full trust in it? That's dangerous. But confidence in your essence? That's different. Your essence includes your knowledge, skills, upbringing, heart, mind, and yes, yourself, all together. So when we talk about confidence, it's not just about ego. It's about knowing who you are, grounded in faith and reliance on God. Think about it. No matter how strong someone seems, when real hardship hits, even the strongest atheist cries out, "God!" Even those who deny Him, when they're on a plane shaking through turbulence, they whisper His name. Why? Because deep down, we know where true strength lies. And that's why I concluded in the book, the root of many people's lack of confidence is actually a problem of trust in God, of good expectations from Him. Fear comes from uncertainty about the future. But imagine this. When you go on a roller coaster, you pay to feel fear. Why? Because you trust the safety measures, you trust the system. So the fear becomes thrilling instead of paralyzing. What if our lives were like that? What if we prepared, did our best, and then trusted in God the same way we trust a manufacturer? Then fear wouldn't stop us. It would drive us. It would excite us. When fear hits you now, it's a feeling about something in the future. If you've succeeded before, your past gives you courage. But if you haven't, then only a good opinion of God will carry you forward. And even if things don't go your way, remember, not everything you want is good for you. And not everything you don't want is bad. God chooses what's best because He knows more, He cares more, and He is wiser than we are. And in relationships, especially close ones, honesty and harmony are key. Public relations rely on overlooking things and showing respect. But in private relationships, hiding everything isn't healthy. Yet, there's wisdom in choosing which battles to fight. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said about himself, he knew some things and overlooked others. There's a time to confront and a time to let go. Not everything deserves a reaction. But how do we decide what to overlook? 3 conditions. The behavior cannot be changed. Maybe it's part of their nature or habit. The behavior happens rarely. Occasional mistakes shouldn't break bonds. The behavior doesn't harm you deeply. But if the behavior is harmful, repeated, and changeable, silence may damage the relationship more than speaking up. Especially in long-term, close relationships like with a spouse, sibling, or child. And sometimes, silence is a choice, not weakness. Like when Prophet Joseph kept his feelings to himself when he met his brothers again. He was powerful, yet he chose mercy over revenge. That kind of silence? That's strength. Silence born out of fear or weakness? That's what harms. That's what eats away at you. Recently, I read a translated book called Narcissism Unmasked by an American psychologist. She talks about narcissism, how some level of self-love is normal. Healthy, even. It's about asserting your value without stepping on others. The danger is when self-love turns into arrogance, into thinking you deserve everything and others deserve nothing. That's when it becomes toxic. So how do we find the balance? Know your rights, speak for yourself, but also know the limits of others. Don't confuse standing up for yourself with being aggressive. Standing up for yourself means knowing what you deserve and doing it with dignity. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said to his companions, "Do what is required of you and ask Allah for what is due to you." So fulfill your duties and ask God for your rights. Whether they come or not, you've done your part. And that, my friends, is the foundation of a truly strong personality. And you know what? Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away. Not out of pride, not out of anger, but out of peace. Peace with yourself. Peace with your values. Peace with your faith. Because a strong personality isn't about winning every argument. It's about knowing when to fight and when to forgive. It's about understanding that not everyone deserves your energy. Not every situation deserves your stress. And not every person deserves another chance. So if you've been carrying wounds from the past, if you've been silenced by guilt or shame, if you've been told to stay quiet so others can thrive, I'm telling you now, your voice matters. Your rights matter. Your peace matters. And if you truly want to build a strong personality, it starts with believing that.